So my favourite thing to make with basil is basil pesto, and it's really yummy. So what I do is I make it when I've got the basil growing during summer, and I pop it in some little containers and freeze them, and we eat that all year round. I never make enough to last the whole year. So this year I'm growing more basil. Hopefully I'll be able to freeze more pesto, and that way we won't run out. But it's just really yummy. So it's just fresh basil from the garden that I've just harvested this morning. Some garlic, some olive oil, parmesan cheese, some salt. I think that's about it. And all it is like seriously blending it. If you don't need a fancy pants machine like this, you just need a blender, or you can chop it up. You can do it in a mortar and pestle, whatever you've got available to you. So come with me and watch me make basil pesto. So as the basil grows, I just snip the tips off it, and then that encourages the plant to kind of bush out and grow lots of lateral branches, which means you get more basil during the season. If you do that regularly, you get like a bushier, kind of more productive plant. Whereas if you just let it go, it can just like keep growing up, and you don't get all those really nice side branches with all the leaves on it. And the leaves at the growing, when the plant's growing actively, they're the best flavour. If you let the plant sort of grow and almost go to seed, the leaves aren't as flavourful. So try and get the leaves early on in the season and pinch them out. You'll get lots of production from the plant. So my plants grow all summer long, and the more basil I can get, the better. So all I do is a couple of cloves of garlic into the food processor, just all the basil. I don't really have a recipe that I work to, I just chuck it all in. Pine nuts. Pine nuts are quite expensive, so sometimes I'll do a half pine nut, half almond, or you can use cashew nuts. You can use lots of different types of nuts, but I managed to pick up quite a big bag of pine nuts fairly cheaply, so this time it's all pine nut. You can toast them if you want to, but I don't think it makes much difference. Salt. I don't know where my little teaspoon is, so I'll just put a couple of teaspoons of salt in, lots of olive oil, you kind of want it to be mushy but not real liquidy. You want it to be fairly solid. So I sometimes put the olive oil in, mush it up, and then add more if I need it. Lid on and chop. Yum. You can really taste the basil. It's quite a distinct aniseed taste, and this is delicious. So you can sort of see the texture and consistency there. Still thick, but kind of thin enough that it'll be great in pasta and things like that. So if you want to make a chunky sort of dip, you can use this same sort of recipe, but don't chop it up as finely, like leave it chunky, and it's really nice if you use cashew nuts, things like that. You can also do a same sort of recipe with just using sun-dried tomatoes to make a sun-dried tomato pesto. I might do a video on that because that's really yummy in pasta and it freezes really well. So all I do now is pop these in some containers, label them, freeze them, and it's done. Yummy. There it is. Everything has to get the is it good on a cracker with some cheese test. Let's have a go. Delicious. So I've been working all day and I've been to the gym and I'm back home again, and I've been wondering all day about this pesto because when I tasted it, although it was delicious, there was something missing from it and I couldn't quite work out what it was, and it was the Parmesan cheese. I'd forgotten to put the Parmesan cheese in, so I've had to get it back out of the fridge, and what I've done is I've grated the Parmesan. I've got to re-add the original pesto to that, mix it up, put it back in its container, and then I'll give it a taste test. That's how it should taste. That's even more delicious. So the pesto has to pass the cheese and biscuit test. So here it is on a cracker with some cheese. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Goes well with a gin and tonic. Cheers.